Gaurangri Padmabhringaya Radha Bhav Nishevine Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Sharupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radharas Sudhanidhim Gaura Vrajashita Sheshaira Vaishnavaira Vanda Vigraham Jagannatha Prabhum Vande Premabdham Vidya Vaishnavam Ancha Kalpataru Bhayascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavtaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratase Namah. So I want to welcome everyone to our Friday evening Sangha, online Sangha. We are broadcasting on the orders of Srila Bhaktipavan Janardhan Maharaj, our affectionate guardian here in SoCal, Seva Ashram, California, and trying to be of some service to the servitors. Let me bring our divine panelists on. Dandavat Pranam Sripad Arun Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Sripad Chinmadev Prabhu.
Dandavat Prabhu.
So we are going through the search for Sri Krishna reality, the beautiful, and we'll continue. But today happens to be a special day. It is MahaShivaRatri, and we will be glorifying Lord Shiva, especially Vaishnav Shiva, and hopefully we will be able to do some justice. We'll take help of Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindev Goswami Maharaj, our Gurudev, and we shall try and glorify Lord Shiva. And then after that, we will go to the search for Sri Krishna reality, the beautiful. So,
Prabhuji, if I may interrupt.
Yes.
So, after that, may I then suggest that we honor our dear Seva Vikram Yudhamanyu Prabhu.
Jai.
It's a special day for him. And he has been very affectionate. Even though I really think I'm nobody, but he really gave a lot of love, encouragement, and affection to me. So I would like to take the time to remember him and honor him.
Prabhuji, that will be awesome. Thank you for bringing that up, and we shall do that for sure. So, MahaShivaRatri happens once a year. Around this time, it's called the month of Phagun, and anyone who knows even a little bit about our Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindev Goswami Maharaj, knows his intimate connection with Sadashiva, Gangadhar. And so, I'm going to read from, if you permit, I'm going to read from his one of his lectures, which was delivered in 2016. So, let's see. Let me bring it over here. So Lord Shiva can give liberation. He has that power. And he is a perfect agent of Lord Krishna. In the last chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, chapter 13, verse number 16, you will see, Nimnaganam yatha Ganga, Devanam achyuto yatha, Vaishnavanam yatha Shambho, Purananam idam tatha. As the Ganga is the greatest of all rivers, Lord Achyuta is the greatest of all deities. Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnavas. So Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambho. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. She says, Purana Nam Idam Tatha. Idam means this. This is because that's what you're reading. And so that's why it doesn't spell out Srimad Bhagavatam. It says Idam Tatha. Here you can understand that Lord Krishna has given power to other demigods, and also that Lord Shiva is the supreme Vaishnava. What does Lord Shiva chant? He chants the name of Ram. And on whom does Lord Shiva meditate? On his master, Vishnu. So what is the mood of Lord Shiva? Why does he meditate and chant? When you can understand this, then you can understand Krishna consciousness. Once, Parvati Devi asked the Lord Shiva, which form of the Lord is supremely worshipable? And Parvati expected Lord Shiva to say, me, I am the Supreme Personality, but Lord Shiva did not say that. Lord Shiva said, Aradhananam pi sarvesham Vishnor Aradhanam param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. So the supremely worshipable personality of Godhead is Vishnu, Krishna. Then Parvati Devi thought, I am not worshipping Lord Vishnu, I am worshipping Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva smiled and said, Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. So Narayan is the supreme personality of Godhead, and someone who worships Narayan worships the highest worshipable Lord. But even more than them is someone who worships the devotees of Narayan. Parvati Devi was very happy to hear this. She knows Lord Shiva meditates on Vishnu and serves Vishnu. She knows he is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambho, the best of all Vaishnavas. So she thought, he serves Vishnu and I serve him, so I am in a very peaceful position. Namaskar, namaskar. Welcome Anil ji. Namaskar Ritu ji. Hari Bol. Vedic culture was very widely and properly organized in South India, but now it is going in the wrong way. You have seen many wrong things in nature of South Indians, especially in the Brahman class. They are taking the outer form of the Vedic culture and not the inner form. And in that way, they have organized the worship of Lord Shiva. Much clash came over this in the time of Ramanujacharya. When the Shaiva Sampradaya and the Ramanuja Sampradaya rose, the Shankara Sampradaya went down. And the Shaiva and Ramanuja Sampradaya clashed. The Shaiva Sampradaya wanted to worship Lord Shiva and no one else, and their style of worship was not proper. We can still see this in South India today. They are very addicted, fanatic, you can say. The Ramanuja Sampradaya also deviated maybe 100 years after Ramanuja. They began to abuse the Shaiva Sampradaya by preaching. Vyagrena khadmane pi nagaccheta Shiva mandiram. Their theory was this: if you see a tiger coming to kill you, then even if there is a temple of Lord Shiva nearby where you can run, close the door, save yourself from being eaten, do not go to the Shiva temple. Better to allow the tiger to kill you and give up your body than go inside a Shiva temple. They preach like this in an extreme way, and it is not real Vedic preaching, actually. Everywhere there is some systematic adjustment, proper adjustment comes down from Golok Vrindavan. Transcendental knowledge comes down and adjusts everything. Everywhere in the Paravyom Dham, there are abodes and forms of Lord Vishnu, and there also Lord Shiva has a position. So Lord Shiva is Shuddha Sattva. But when Lord Shiva comes into the mundane world as the master of Maya, then he becomes a Gunavatar, the controller of the material mode of ignorance, Tamogun. That position of Lord Shiva is not so fair. Now everyone worships that Shiva, the Gunavatar Shiva. We are Vaishnavas and we worship Shiva's form as Sadashiv in Paravyom Dham. So like that beautiful prayer, Karpura Gauram Karunavataram Sansara Saram Bhujagendraharam Sada Vasantam Hridayaravinде Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. So it says Avataram. So that is Gunavatar. We are strictly worshipping Avatar. That's what Gurudev is saying here, that we are more concerned. We of course pay dandavats, full dandavats with full respects, but Sadashiv is our real Aradhya. So that is what he is trying to make as a point here. Sadashiv in the Paravyom Dham. Back to Srila Govinda Maharaj. You know that in Vrindavan Dham there is Raseshwar Shiva, Gopeshwar Shiva, and many other forms of Lord Shiva. We worship these forms. We offer pranam to Gopeshwar Shiva in this way. Vrindavanani Pate Jaya Soma Soma Mule Maule Sanandana Sanatana Naradedya Gopeshwar Vraja Vilasa Yugangri Padme Pritim Nyacha Nitaram Nirupadhikame Nirupadhikame. O protector of Vrindavan Dham, O husband of Uma, whose crown is the moon, O Shiva, you are worshipped by Sanandana, Sanatana, Narad, and all the sages. All glory to you, O guardian of the gopis. Please give me resolute and unconditional devotion to the lotus feet of the divine couple who play in Braja. Lord Shiva gives entrance to Rasa Leela of Lord Krishna. He is the doorkeeper of the Rasa Sthali. That form of Shiva, however, is not a male form. In the form of a girl, a gopi, he is the gatekeeper of the Rasa Sthali. And when we offer pranam there, we use this mantra. We ask him for devotion to Krishna and entrance to Rasa Leela of Krishna. He gives that visa, and then we go inside the Rasa Sthali. So Lord Shiva has two positions. One as Gunavatar and the other as Shuddha Shiva. We always respect everybody, not only Gunavataras, Manavantavataras or Leelavataras. We respect everything. But we are in the line of exclusive devotion to Lord Krishna, and that is our position. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki.
Yeah.
And he has also, I would like to share with you, he has composed a very beautiful pranam mantra for Sadashiva, Gangadhar. Devadidevam ahibhushanam indukaksham panchananam pashupatim varadam prasannam Gangadharam pranatapalam ashutosham vande sadashiva haripriya chandramaulim.
Yeah. And I remember Sadashiv's deity's temple in our mutt. And he is the protector of the mutt, of our mutt.
Yes. Yeah.
And Param Guru Maharaj established that because of all the trouble that the Malays nearby were giving, the Muslims were. So, Sadashiv deity is our protector of the Dham, and as in the material world also we can see his help, because he is really he is a controller. He's the as you have explained, Prabhuji, that the whole world is impregnated through the mechanism, through the means of Sadashiv.
Yes.
So we need to remember that and honor and recognize that.
So the Shiv Pranam mantra, here is the explanation. It says, the chief of the Devas, whose body is decorated by snakes, whose body shines like the moon, who has 5 heads, who carries his weapon known as Pashupati, who gives boons, who is of satisfied nature, who holds the Ganga on his head, who maintains those who give obeisances to him, who is easily pleased. I offer my obeisances to Sadashiv, who is dear to Hari, and whose crown is the moon. So this shows how broad the vision of Vaishnavism is, that everything is accepted in its proper place and proper position. Everything is accepted.
Prabhuji, if you can just do me a favor, I would like to hear again, Guru, what you read in the beginning of how it has been distorted by the traditions in South India between the two mats.
Sure. So we can go.
Because unfortunately, that is the reality most of the people from Indian background arise from, and they're not well educated on the whole context to really understand the true.
So let me give some background. So here Gurudev is explaining a conversation happening between Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi. And so Parvati Devi, she asks, because for her, Lord Shiva is all in all. She worships him as her everything. For her, there is no one else. So she just thought one time that she will ask, like, which is the best kind of worship and who is the supreme worshipable? That was her question. And to answer that question, Lord Shiva said, Aradhana namapi sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param. And so after hearing this, she got a little dejected, because she was thinking that he is my Lord and I worship him, and now he is saying that it is Lord Vishnu. What is this? But then he said, Tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam, which means to worship the one who is dear, very dear to Hari. Tadiya. Tadiya is someone else, but who is very dear to Hari. Tadiyanam. Tasmat parataram devi. So tasmat parataram means even higher than that worship, direct worship, is the worship of the one dear to Hari. Then she was very happy, because Vaishnavanam yatha shambho. She knows that there is no other greater devotee than him. Then she was happy. Now, let me reread the last part as you requested. This is an excerpt from Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govind Dev Goswami Maharaj. So he is explaining, the Vedic culture was very widely and properly organized in South India, but now it is going in the wrong direction, in the wrong way. You have seen many wrong things in nature of South Indians, especially in the Brahman class. They are taking the outer form of the Vedic culture, not the inner form. And in that way, they have organized the worship of Lord Shiva. Much clash came over this in the time of Ramanujacharya. When the Shaiva Sampradaya and the Ramanuja Sampradaya rose, the Shankar Sampradaya went down, and the Shaiva and Ramanuja Sampradayas clashed. The Shaiva Sampradaya wanted to worship Lord Shiva and no one else, and their style of worship was not proper. We can still see this in South India today. They are very addicted, fanatic, you can say. The Ramanuja Sampradaya also deviated maybe 100 years after Ramanuja. They began to abuse the Shaiva Sampradaya by preaching Vyagrena Khadmane Pinagachet Shiva Mandiram. Their theory was this: if you see a tiger coming to kill you, even if there is a temple of Lord Shiva nearby where you can run, close the door, and save yourself from being eaten, do not go to the Shiva temple. Better to allow the tiger to kill you and give up your body than go inside a Shiva temple. They preached like this in an extreme way. This is not real Vedic preaching, actually.
Prabhuji, I'd like to just relate this. It is so prevalent even in the Brahmins of North India. So I had a friend who was a Brahmin and he was a Shaiva Bhakt. And then he was interacting with me and then he says, "Oh, so you are a Gaudiya Vaishnava.
Mm-hmm.
So you must be really hating me. Or all the things that I must be hating." Because the definition for him is a Vaishnava is totally incompatible with Shiv. I said, you are a fool. Because if you don't understand the overall thing, and if you don't understand a Vaishnava who does not honor and respect and full glory of Shiv and Lord Sadashiv, is the biggest idiot. So then he kind of opened up, "Oh, so can you even chant this mantra?" Yes, I'll be happy to chant if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I did. Because in the heart of hearts, we need to see for what Lord Shiva is, as you read right in the beginning. That question by Parvati Maha should be an eye-opener to everybody. Everybody. And then they will understand the unity of this Sanatana Dharma conception. How beautiful it is, one yet variegated.
Very well said. And Krishna conception that we follow, or rather try to follow, or is our ideal, we want to follow, is remember, it is the highest harmony. Beauty and harmony, two principles. What is beauty to the eye is harmony to the ear. Principle is the same. So Krishna consciousness is the highest harmony. We are told like that. And we want to realize that. And highest harmony means what? There cannot, everything is adjusted. Everything, good and bad, what is not palatable to our senses or our intellect, all that is beautifully, harmoniously adjusted in the final analysis. So all waves are favorable. That is at the heart of Krishna consciousness. So this reminds me that when I won't name any names, but it was Shivaratri, MahaShivaRatri, and I went to I went to a Krishna temple this was a number of years back, and it was very impressive that even though they were Westerners and they were chanting and they were doing very well, I felt very nice. And so afterwards, when it was over, it was around like evening time, late evening. So after prasadam, then I just mentioned the speaker, I guess I thought he's the Pandit and he's doing it and he's the Brahman. So I said, MahaShivaRatri. So that kind of, his ears stood up. He goes, "What did you say?" He said, "Sir, this is a Krishna temple. No Shivaratri here." So I said, "Okay, all right. I understand. Now I understand." And so, but, it was just like that. So that's how I remember Shivaratri. Mentioning Shubhratri, Shubh means like good night. But he thought this guy he's a Shaivite. And he's like, no Shivaratri here. So, like that.
So my mother was a great devotee of Lord Shiva too. And on MahaShivaRatri, it will be a big festival, and the last 10 years of her life, she would always go to a Shiva temple that was very infrequently visited because it was inside a military base. And without exception, when she would go there would be Lord Shiva's snake will always be there. And without any fear, she will give a cup of milk to that snake, and the snake will drink it. And that is the kind of astha and affection that she had. And so, because there is a unity, and that is the reason why everything is adjusted. Once from the Guru's perspective, we get to know what the complete thing is, then obviously we'll see there is compatibility and adjustment, and now we can see the correct context.
Exactly. So through the proper lens, then when one worships, then everything is perfectly harmonized. But without that, it's all haphazard, and then there are clashes and misunderstanding. Everyone remains in misconception. So that is the prime thing, is to first understand what's going on, through the proper lens of teachers, bona fide acharyas, as they're giving, and then through that lens we can see clearly how this entire divinity is working, and it's all in harmony. So we have to learn to see like that. That is proper seeing, not the way we want to see things, because we are imposing our mental, you can say, capacity on something which is beyond the paradigm of the mind. So how can we bring that down and try and understand it? It doesn't make sense, but people continue to do that, and that's why all of this has been just not been proper for so long.
So may I introduce the second agenda for tonight, Prabhuji? Is that a okay time?
Please go ahead.
Okay. So I'd like to remind ourselves, and I'd like to really remember from depth of my heart our great Vaishnav Thakur amongst us, Sri Seva Vikram Yudhamanyu Prabhu, who was so high and yet the way he interacted with us just, you know, stole your heart away. And it is the day today, at this very auspicious day, that he also disappeared from this world. And I'd like to really remember and thank him for his association and all that he gave to us in many different ways. It is much later that I realized, when I really heard the glories of Seva Vikram Yudhamanyu Prabhu, that hidden behind his absolute humbleness was his greatness. And there's a reason why he was called Seva Vikram. There's a reason why his service is the reason that Param Guru Maharaj was very, very happy and satisfied with him. And our Gurudev in succession was very, very happy and satisfied with him. His contribution to the community here in California, Soquel, I can't even imagine how somebody can give his own self so selflessly in such a substantial way. And so, of course, Seva Vikram Yudhamanyu Prabhu was not alone. I always see it with his spouse. And she continues to be with us, and she's a heart's delight to ever, any time interact with her. Anybody who can interact with her gets attracted, just the way anybody who interacts with Seva Vikram Yudhamanyu Prabhu would be attracted. So in spite of, so I'm told that initially much of the mutt at our ashram in Bengal, Seva Vikram Yudhamanyu Prabhu was responsible for financially providing service to Param Guru Maharaj so that he can fulfill many of his aspirations, many of how the mutt should be. And people who have been there know that, you know, what Yudhamanyu Prabhu stands for. The mutt in Soquel Ashram also had very, very substantial input. And no matter what we did, we tried to do, at least he was the one who blessed the Bhagavad Gita class discussion group. And I am really, really very, very thankful for what he has done. As when Jaram Prabhu, you went to him and he was just ecstatic to say, yes, do it.
You were with me.
Yes, I was. And every time he would come from his mission for a home posting.
In China.
Yeah, so his mission, his Karma Bhumi was China in the last many years. And every time on vacation when he comes here for a few weeks, he will always give us association in Bhagavad Gita class. So humble, so humble. And I could feel, you know, if I put myself in his position, how hard it will be. It really demands a very high sacrifice, where a person may say, you know, I'm a devotee, I want to strengthen my devotion, so I want to be in association with other like-minded devotees. Who does not want it? At least I want it. That is the reason I stick around here. That is the reason I am hesitant to go back to India, for example, is also because of that. And Yudhamanyu Prabhu would sometimes express his heart there to say, I love to come to this Bhagavad Gita class and to interact with Jayaram Prabhu and other devotees. I do not get this association in China, his duty, his karmship, where he is a guru to other aspiring Chinese devotees. But in heart of heart, he used to miss his other God brothers and devotees. It is a huge sacrifice to go to a land. You can do what you want to do, But if you're not able to fully share at your level um, with other devotees and Janardhan Maharaj and other Maharajas, I know it would be so, it demands a very high degree of faith in his Guru, very high degree of faith in his service to ignore these things. Even if they come in the heart, he would ignore. So at this moment, I like to really, with a lot of loving affection, I remember him, and then in retrospect, I remember, gee, I was living at a time amongst the lions. The lions are gone, but now I remember, these were giants I was living with. So association with Yudhamanyu Prabhu is like, in retrospect, it appears like I had that good fortune to live amongst those exceptional giants of our time. So I'd like to honor and say Seva Vikram Yudhamanyu Prabhu Ki Jai from my side. Please feel free to share your feelings, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Sripad Arun Krishna Prabhu Ki Jai. That was beautiful. So we can, if you want, then we can go to search for Sri Krishna a little bit. You want to read the beautiful? What would you like to do? Arun Prabhu?
Prabhuji, I'd like to spend some more time on remembering this great Vaishnav Thakur. Words are not enough to describe. He is the guru to the Chinese devotees. Spreading Krishna consciousness in China, Param Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami has been amazed to say, you are able to spread Krishna consciousness in China? That is a miracle. That is a miracle.
Yeah, Gurudev said that. The only thing surprises me is they're chanting the Lord's name in China. That nothing else surprises me of this world.
Jaram Prabhu, if you are if you could kindly share something, and of course Chinmay Prabhu, and Preeti Diti, you know him too, so maybe you can share something.
Well, what I can say about Yudhamanyu Prabhu is he was what we would consider a yes man, at least to Gurudev. If Gurudev would want something, his answer was yes. And he was always asking Gurudev, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want this? And when Gurudev would say, yes, that's what we'll do. He was always asking Gurudev, should I go back to China? Should I go back to China? And he knew that Gurudev wanted him to go back to China, but he wanted to make sure, always to make sure that he had the backing of his Guru. And I believe Vikram, doesn't Vikram mean powerful or heroic?
Yes.
Waller. One who is full of warrior valor. V-A-L-O-U-R.
The mighty servitor.
There you go. So that was Yudhamanyu Prabhu. And he also established the mission in South Africa too. So he was all over the world preaching for Gurudev and for Guru Maharaj. Jai Yudhamanyu Prabhu ki Jai.
And the Seva Vikram title was given to him by Param Guru Maharaj, by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. None other than Param Guru Maharaj. I would just say that he was a man of heart. No duplicity. And just straightforward dealing. A real friend. A guardian. It's really a miracle to have that kind of association in this world. So when Shri Guru's grace is touching you, when you have association like that, That's all I'd like to say. I think we should have Hari Harai now. It's
Prabhuji, if you allow me, I'd like to sing Vaishnava Vignapati at this stage and then do Hari Harai.
Please go ahead.
E bar karuna karo.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So this bhajan is sung especially on the days where you miss a higher Vaishnava, Vaishnava Thakur. So, this is on page 144. So then I will sing and then you could kindly follow. Hey bar karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai. Hey bar karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai. Patita pavana toma vinay ke unai.
Patita pavana toma vinay ke unai.
Tahara nikate gele पाप दूर जाय हे मन दयाला प्रभु सेवा को थपाए हे मन
Prabhu Seva Kathai.
गंगार परस होइले पतिते पवन गंगार परस
होइले पतित पवन
दर्शन पवित्र करो हे तोमर गाना दर्शन हरि स्थान अपराधे तारे हरि नाम हरि
अपराधे तारे हरि नाम
तोमास्थान अपराधे नहीं को दाना
अपराधे नहीं कोई दानम
तुम्हारा हृदय सदा गोविंद विश्राम तुम्हारा
हृदय सदा गोविंद विश्राम
गोविंद को है नाम वैष्णव पराना
नाम वैष्णव पराना
प्रति जन्म कोरी आशा चरणेर धूली प्रति
आशा चरण দয়া আপনার বলি
এইবার করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই
এবার করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই
পতিত পাবন তোমা বিনে কেহ নাই
Joy. Okay. Give me a second, I'll be right back.
What did you say, Chinmay Prabhu?
Oh, no, sorry. I was speaking to Doya.
भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
Bhaj Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gauranga Vrinda
हरिहराय नमः कृष्णाय यादवाय नमः
Hare Krishna
यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः
Yadavaya Madhavaya Sarvaya Namaha
गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan
श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत चंद्र
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्त वृंदा
Adadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Ichai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan.
Ichai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana.
Jaha Hoite Vignana Shabishta Puran.
Jaha Pura.
Gosai Dharmui Taradas.
Ichai Gosai Jar Muni Karadas.
Tan Sabara Padarenu Mora Panchagras. Tandera Charana Sebi Bhakta Sanevas.
Andhra Devi Bhakta
Janame Janame Mora Abhilash.
Janame Janame Mora Abhilash.
Ichai Gosai Jabe Braja Koilabas.
Ichai Gosai Jabe Jabe Koilabas.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash.
Shri Radha Krishna
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaj Vrindavan.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Madhai Aman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas.
Hari Nam Sankirtana ko hai Narottama Das.
Shri Nam Sankirtana
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Shri Haraya Nam Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
Joy. Anika ji, please take it away.
Jai Sapri Kashi Shri Guru Manga Gandavar Govinda Sundar Girdhar Gopilaju Ki Jai. Jai Om Patmang Shaparavar Chakravari Asar Satashri Shrimad Bhakti Sundardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jaya Om Patmang Shaparavar Chakravari Asar Satashri Shrimad Bhakti Sundardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jaya Om Patmang Shaparavar Chakravari Asar Satashri Shrimad Bhakti Sanatana Saraswati Chakravar Ki Jai. Om Shri Guru Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Shri Chachi Nanda Bhakti Noda Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nudur Varga Ki Jai. Shri Lahari Das Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Kuti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Baladeva Vidya Bhushan Ki Jai. Lila Vishwanath Chakravarti Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Nordama Shama Mother Shri Vaishnav Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Saprasada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saprasada Shri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Girdhar Gopi Giridhar Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Lakshmi Varadeva Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shri Nrsimhadeva Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhu Padma Maharaj Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Gangadamna Ji Ki Jai. Mantarada Shri Bhagavatam Chaitanya Charamatra Ki Jai. Vishwa Vaishnava Jasada Ki Jai. Prakma Chaitanya Ki Jai. Sadhya Sekamat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Ki Jai. Vishwa Kabir Sadhya Sekamat Ki Jai. Shri Damaipur Ki Jai. Shri Damnavati Ki Jai. Indravan Pursatam Ki Jai. Baldev Subhadra Jugna Ji Ki Jai. Jai. Krishna Ganga Ji Ki Jai. Yudhamanyu Ki Jai. Samavita Bhakta Vinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sakritan Ki Jai. Nitya Gaur Nande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Shri Anika ji, Preeti ji, Vikram ji, and family ki jai. And I also see Srishti ji ki jai. Jai Srishti. Good to see you. My namaskar to your mom and dad, okay? To Shankaji and to your mom. Our divine panelists, Sripad Chinmay Dev Prabhu ki jai, Sripad Arun Krishna Prabhu ki jai, Sripad Anil Kumar ji ki jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Pawan Janardhan Maharaj ki jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrind ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Sannasi Vrind ki jai, Jai Sadashiv Gangadhar Ji ki jai, Jai MahaShivaRatri Mahotsav ki jai, Nittai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Vikram Yudhamanyu Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.